Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Doc's Huddle, your gateway to an in-depth connection between sports medicine and the latest events in sports, fantasy, and betting. Today's show is brought to you by the Health and Wellness Depot. Unlock the power of well-being. I'm Dr. Mikey B. With me today, Dr. MJB and CJ, the sports enthusiast. We are going to be doing the Doc's Huddle Show's 2024 NFL mock draft. What we've done today is we've divvied up all the teams amongst the three of us, and we're going to be making our own picks based off of our own reviews on these athletes. And pretty excited, guys. How are you feeling?
Oh, every year when the NFL draft is coming on, it's probably the best time of the year. As a sports fan, I love it. At the same time this is going on, you have the NBA playoffs. So, I'm a huge fan of that. As you can see by my Panthers jersey, I'm a huge Panthers fan, even though we don't have a first round pick.
Yeah, he was talking about his team. Worst team in the league, don't have a pick, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, draft season is always one of the most exciting parts of the year for a big fan. So it's always exciting to see who your team, picks a great player or you're devastated. So we'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully we're going to be happy about some of the picks tonight, and I'm sure we won't be with some others. But so CJ, you're leading us off. So you have been assigned the Bears. You are on the clock. Okay. What are we thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple choice. Nothing to overlook. Nothing to get too cute about. You take Caleb Williams. Obviously, they traded away Justin Fields. The whole world knows it's coming. I wish we could bet on it and make some money, but we can't. So, Caleb Williams first off the board, and there's really nothing to think about.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think everyone knows that what's coming. I mean, wasn't he training with guys like Keenan Allen already?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so we know where he's going. I mean, I don't know. I think he's good. He's definitely got a lot of the after the X's and O's type of capability. But yeah, I there's only one Patrick Mahomes, and I keep on hearing that's his comparison. I think he is the best quarterback in this draft, but I don't know. You can make arguments for some of these quarterbacks. Him, Drake May, who I'm going to mention later when we bring him up, like that had a much better I'd say a much better season 2 years ago than they did last year. So that's like they didn't perform as well, but and then you have other guys that are ascending. So it's very interesting to hear different people's perspectives on all these quarterbacks. There's so many, all talented, but you know how it is every year.
Well, the thing with Caleb Williams is I know that you don't like the comparison with Patrick Mahomes, but his ceiling,
I don't.
But he has every attribute to be an elite quarterback. Like
and I hope he is. I hope he becomes one. Especially for our boy Dirty Randy, who's not here this evening, but big Bears fan. I hope he does well for him, going there. But.
Oh no, for sure. He has big arm talent, accurate, can throw a lot of off-scripted throws. I'm worried about more of the intangibles and kind of does he have leadership qualities that you want?
Yeah, definitely.
And how driven he would be to play QB. The problem is now a lot of these college guys are getting paid, so it's like, how much love and passion are they coming to within the league if they already have money? So I'm curious to see how that develops. But he has a nice supporting cast.
I think he's got passion. I think he's got all the talent in the world. It's a matter if he could put it together. The one thing I don't love is that every time a quarterback is hyped up this much, it's like make or break. And I'm not sold on it. I don't know. You don't know. You never know. Everyone says, Bryce Young, best thing. Look at CJ Stroud. Not saying Bryce Young won't be good. I think he will be good, but I'm just saying, he will be good. But a lot of the hyped up quarterbacks take a hard turn sometimes. Jamarcus Russell, you just don't know.
That's true.
That is true. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the Commanders. So I'm very conflicted with this pick. I know what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to pick what I think is going to happen more than who I feel is the number 2 quarterback. I had Caleb Williams as my number 1. I think Drake May is the number 2 quarterback. I have my reservations on every one of these guys for different reasons. I think that his ceiling is the highest out of the remaining quarterbacks. I love his arm talent. I know he has some footwork issues that have been made apparent, but I will say that Jaden Daniels is just continuing to ascend, which is kind of what I alluded to. Like he's one of those guys that like the more he's been playing, the better and better and better he's become. I mean, he does have 2 of the 4 best wide receivers in this draft that he played with. My only knock on Jaden Daniels is that I thought that when watching the film, he wasn't keeping his eyes down. Like he kept his eyes downfield, but as soon as he felt a little bit of pressure, you see him take off and use his athleticism. He had one of the best offensive lines in the league. So hopefully he's able to, stay in the pocket a little bit more and make some plays for the Commanders, because I am taking Jaden Daniels at number 2.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I mean, Drake May, like you said, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of he's got the arm power, all that. The footwork was definitely something that we hear time and time again over a bunch of analysts. I think he has a huge ceiling to grow and be an incredible quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think he's ready on day one. Like he would be a great candidate to sit behind someone, and really develop. So I think Jaden Daniels may be a little bit more ready out of the gate, so he might be the better pick for Washington in this scenario. But yeah, I mean, both have high ceilings. I think Jaden Daniels is more developed right now, but doesn't mean that he'll be the better developed down the line.
Yeah, Chris, yeah. I agree with you. Drake May, my issues with him, I mean, granted, it's still a good pick. I just think that sometimes he can hold the ball too long and try to create sometimes. And in the NFL, everyone's fast. So it's either make a play or move on with it. And I just think that he tries to make a play sometimes when it's not there. And in the NFL, you just got to, take what you're given. So I think he can eventually become a very good quarterback. I personally don't think that he's ready to start day one, but hey, to each their own. If Washington does select him there, then I'm sure they'll provide him with the pieces he needs to succeed. But personally, I wouldn't have chosen him to go there. But that's we are to our opinions here.
No, I like I said, I made my selection based off of what I think is maybe what's going to happen. A little bit more than where I would have gone with it, but just to give, I wanted to keep it interesting. And what I think, I think Jaden Daniels is going to go second. No, I would probably take Drake May. So I want to see, let the rest of our draft today kind of like pan out with a little bit more of a realistic turn. I could be wrong. We'll see.
Yeah. So no, MJB, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but you don't even have to drop a name. But are you saying that you'd be considering taking Drake May, or is there another guy in your head that you'd consider taking?
At number 2 with the Commanders, are you asking?
At number 2.
Well, I'll tell you who's number 2 on my board because he's actually not taken yet. And so with that said, I'll give you my third.
Okay, third pick. So I guess we can talk. Go ahead, Mike. Who you got? New England. Where are we going?
There's no question that New England needs a quarterback, and they need one.
Hands down.
They got rid of Mac Jones, who I thought was decent enough to at least give him another shot, but they felt that it was necessary to move on. So my second quarterback in the draft, and who's going 3rd overall, is none other than J.J. McCarthy, Michigan.
Yeah, I think he's going to be incredible.
Wow.
Too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
okay.
And I'll be honest with you, dude. I watched this film and he pops off the film. Like he is quick. He's decisive. He's accurate. I know Jim Harbaugh has a lot to do with that, but I see him honestly like a comp player that I would compare to him was like a Brock Purdy. Now, You're not going to get the flashiness that you would in someone like a Caleb Williams, who some portray have some skill set similar to Patrick Mahomes, but you know what you're getting in JJ McCarthy. He's accurate. He can make all the necessary plays. He is very quick at processing and get the ball out of his hands. And I think that can go a long way in the NFL. So he's my second rated quarterback behind Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams there is only because his ceiling is much higher. But I think the floor for JJ McCarthy is not as low as some of these other quarterbacks. And for that reason, I'd take him number two.
Yeah. And, continuing off that with Harbaugh, obviously he's biased, right? He was the Michigan head coach, but he came out and said to the media that he truly believes that JJ is the best quarterback to ever come through Michigan. Now that's a very big statement. Whether you
Bold.
believe
Yeah.
Harbaugh or not, whatever. But I also think he's got all the tools to be really good, and I think a lot of teams are going to be trying to trade up. I know we're not doing trades, but try and trade up to get JJ before he's taken off the board.
I agree.
Yeah,
The only
I
thing I
agree.
don't like or confused about with New England is that, maybe it's a smoke screen. I get it. They want to hear what's on the table, but they said they're open to trading at 3, which I find crazy because they don't have a quarterback. So
Well,
I think
I've been hearing some insane like offers. We're talking like 3 first rounds,
Yeah.
2 second
Yeah.
rounds, like
I've
something
heard
crazy.
some-
So like if you're gonna
Yep.
if you're not sold with pure conviction on the remaining quarterbacks that are there after the first 2 selected, and
Yeah,
you're
you
getting
can't.
offered these absurd amount of first round picks, you got to consider it. I mean, you have to at least listen.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Because people overpay every year, and
Yeah.
look at Mike, look at the Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you guys didn't go after Bryce Young, hopefully he's fantastic. But if you didn't, you'd be Caleb Williams as a guy this year.
Yeah. Now,
right? And they sold the future for Bryce. And so another team will do the same thing this year.
now I will say this disclaimer. If I was a team and I was picking early on and I needed a quarterback, this is one of the few drafts, in my opinion, where I think a quarterback later in the first or early second is just as good as one of these top quarterbacks. I don't see a huge, and that's just me personally, I don't see a huge talent discrepancy between a Jaden Daniels or Drake May compared to a Bo Nix, right? Or a Joe Milton,
Michael
or
Penix.
Michael Penix. Like I don't see a huge talent discrepancy. The hard part is if you are a GM and a coach, you don't have time, right? So if you end up butchering and not taking a top QB in the top of the draft, it's like, all right, well, you better make something happen immediately. And if those guys need longer to, develop, then now you're screwed and out of a job. So I get both sides of it. But me personally, I probably would just take best player available and then hopefully land one of those other second tier quarterbacks that I think are just as good at the late first or early second round. But, I don't know what you guys are thoughts on that.
No, I think that's the right approach.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Well, being
absolutely.
that we're doing a snake draft, Michael, go for it. We have now the Arizona Cardinals are up next.
Okay.
And I just want to say this before you select. I know that my favorite player in this draft is likely about to get selected, and it hurts me as a Giants fan, 2 picks away. But go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, dude, there's no denying that Arizona's biggest need is a wide receiver. You have Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
If he's truly going to be your guy, you have to provide him weapons. And
Easy.
The best receiver in the draft class is Marvin Harrison Jr. So with the 4th pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, the Ohio State University.
Yeah, and
great pick.
Continuing off that pick, he fills it. I mean, I know it's big shoes to fill. I'm not saying he's Larry Fitzgerald, but he fills that gap. He's gonna be their guy, and the Arizona Cardinals just lost Larry Fitzgerald to finishing up his incredible Hall of Fame career to now gaining their next Hall of Fame receiver potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
you'd be insane to pass on that.
Himothy. Okay. That's all I have to say. He is my absolute favorite player in this draft. I have full conviction on this guy. I as a former receiver, you too, Mike, like, a good route runner. This guy can create separation. That's a big thing we'll talk about as some of these receivers come off the board, but like he creates separation. He has the speed and route running at his size. It's absurd.
Yeah.
He has the pros of every other top receiver in here all in one. Great pick. Wish he was a Giant.
My comp to him is Julio Jones. So
yeah, I think that's a great comparison.
But it's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have the Chargers at number 5. Okay. Harbaugh is our new head coach. Super, super excited. We also lost Mike Williams. I don't love my first round pick from last year. We'll just move on from that. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying, well, I have a Malik Neighbors on the board. I have a Rome Odunze on the board. So I can easily give Justin Herbert a weapon and make my offense even better than it was 2 years ago. Last year was obviously a considerable down year. But part of the reason why I think that it was a down year was because Justin Herbert needs protection. And that's why I am not going to go with my favorite position, but I'm going to go with potentially one of the best players available and need in Joe Alt, offensive tackle, Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I go back and forth between either Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze versus Joe Alt at this pick, if all three are available, that is. And right now they are. So, I mean, it's a great pick. It's really hard for me to say that they're not going to take one of those receivers because they didn't just lose Mike Williams. They don't have Keenan Allen either. So, Keenan Allen is going to be joining Khalid Williams at the Bears.
No,
so
listen, I honestly,
if both choices are correct, it's just
we're not doing trades in this draft, right? I think they're trading out of this pick personally, and I think that there's a lot of good receivers, right? We watched the film. There's a lot of good receivers in this draft. They need a lot of things, and Harbaugh is going to be building this thing from the ground up with some of the staple pieces that he currently has, i.e. Herbert, right? So we trade back for a team that's trying to get in front of the Giants for a quarterback. Because people are calling New England, people are calling the Cardinals. If they stay put, I think the Chargers are your best bet to get up there and get that fourth quarterback. They trade back, and then best player available, wide receiver or offensive tackle. I mean, this is a great draft for both of those positions. I think that they're going to get phenomenal picks for both of them, picks 1 and 2.
No, definitely, Mike. And if you think about it, they'll be getting more bang for their buck if they do go tackle here. We know Harbaugh. Harbaugh loves him some big old linemen and a quarterback. So he has a quarterback. He's gonna beef up that O-line. And like you said, it's a stacked receiver class, so he can always get potential number 1 in the second round. This wide receiver class is loaded. So yeah, I think it's a smart move, honestly.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, and I like this better.
Well, my favorite pick of the draft, Christopher. Go ahead. Both of us are 2 big Giants fans. He's got that Giants hat. Well, we have a lot of needs. I could have added more to the list here, but I didn't want it to take up the entire screen. So there's that. I hope that you pick what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick what you're thinking. I don't think it's as easy and clear cut as we think. I think that there's a lot of different scenarios that can go into the Giants pick. I'm just going to give you my scenario. They're going to take Malik Neighbors this pick. You can argue that he could be the better wide receiver versus Marvin Harrison. People go back and forth. Do I think so? I don't know. I think they're all incredible. Between him, Marvin Harrison, Rome Odunze, and even what's his name, Brian Thomas, the other LSU wide receiver. I think all of them are just phenomenal. They're going to be great players. Now, if JJ McCarthy, or in this case Drake May, does slide down to you, do you consider taking him? Only if you love him and you think he's going to be better than Daniel Jones. Listening to some of the analysts behind Mel Kiper loves Daniel Jones. So
yeah, huge DJ fan.
Huge DJ fan. Someone that really tears apart every little bit of a player. He really likes Daniel Jones. So if you're at that point where you think these players are gonna be just as good as DJ, then obviously you're not going for one. You can argue maybe a finance situation at that point, but you're not doing it. What I think the best move, in my opinion, for the Giants are, if they're worried about Daniel Jones' injury history, you take Malik Neighbors. If you get lucky towards maybe 31, 32, You trade back in, and if Bo Nix is still there, you take him to compete for the job. But the problem with doing that is you also have to now believe in the back of your head that whatever quarterback you draft is also going to be better than Drew Lock, because he's not only fighting for the first position, he's coming in as a third string. So drafting someone up that, at that position to start at third string it's a very substantial pick with when you have a team with so many needs. So again, we're going Malik Neighbors here. A lot of different things can happen, but we'll see.
Yeah,
No, I like the pick. I like the pick. I think that you just paid Daniel Jones, man. You have to give him weapons and see what he can do. It would behoove them to go that route. Anything other than that would be a waste, right? Like, why give him all that money and not support him, but then bring in a potential replacement for him? That's insane. Like, you have to go all in. So I like the pick. It gives them. I like Malik Neighbors because his yards after catch ability is incredible. He can create space. He can keep the defense honest deep because he has that capability as well.
Yep.
And then you pair him with what you guys already have. I think it could be a formidable passing offense if you guys were to take Malik Neighbors at this pick.
I completely agree too.
Definitely.
It's like 1A, 1B, 1C, right? It's just like what flavor ice cream do you like the best? You're getting the best. You're getting great ice cream regardless between the three receivers. We all know that Marvin Harrison is my favorite of the three. But I for the offense that the Giants run, and I know, right, like we don't have that big skyscraper receiver. You get a little bit more, length with Odunze. I still would go Neighbors here. I know that he's also been compared to Larry Fitzgerald. Great hands, amazing possession receiver. You don't know what to do with the ball, just throw it his way, right? My thing, which is fantastic, his work ethic at the combine, staying after to continue to run the 3-cone drill until he got the number he wanted. You always love to see that in a guy. The only thing that I will say is that I feel like Neighbors creates a little bit more separation, and he has that home run speed, and I think definitely. It matches the Mike Kafka, Brian Dable offense a little bit better. And the other thing is, and I'm not saying that this is Rome Odunze at all, but because I know that he's been referenced as he does create separation, so that's why I don't think this is him. But 50-50 receivers, former Giant great tight end Howard Cross always would say 50-50 receiver means you're not open. It means that you're still, the guy's still on you and you got to go up and get it. Let's just create separation. We don't have that issue. So I just think that there's going to be a little less of a concern on creating that separation, picking Neighbors over Odunze.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well.
All right. Michael, Tennessee Titans?
It's me.
Oh, it's you. I'm sorry. My fault. Christopher, Tennessee Titans.
Snake draft. So, Tennessee Titans, right now we've got Calvin Ridley, D-Hop, and Traylon Burks. I want to take Rome Odunze and make this one of the best receiving corps in the league, but I can't do it.
God.
I can't do it because Will Levis is going to get his head chopped off. So, with that being said, we're going to go with the 6'6", 324-pound Talise Fuaga, and we're going to turn up that line.
I love it.
That's who we're going with for the Tennessee Titans.
Fuaga is an animal. Wow. I love that.
That's a really good pick.
That's a great pick.
They got the weapons. You have the quarterback they at least potentially believe is going to be there for them, So you have your quarterback, you have the weapons. You have to protect Will Levis and see what he can do.
Have to.
Dude, they've been drafting quarterbacks the last couple drafts. It's time to stop and give them weapons.
From Malik Willis, 100%.
Let's cut it out. Let's start to support these guys, man.
Completely agree.
So now you can kind of see what he can do. And honestly, when they gave Ryan Tannehill so many opportunities to succeed there, so why not do the same for Will Levis? Give him weapons, give him an O-line, and see what he can do. And then you can choose to see whether that's going to be your QB for the future or not. But you have to protect them.
if he's not your guy down the
Completely
line, then
agree.
you're just
Correct.
building a perfect, O-line and everything around him. But yeah, I mean, we've seen sparks of Will Levis being great. I mean, he has a lot of potential. So, the only thing I don't really like about Will Levis is that he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Other than that, I think he's got a good potential. So, that's really it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think they ever really truly shored up the left tackle spot since Taylor Lewan left. I mean, you had just an absolute like specimen at that position for so long, and I think this will be really nice. This will be something that they're really going to enjoy over there in Tennessee. All right. Well, that brings the pick back to me with the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. So, um, really intriguing pick here, right? We can go a couple of different ways. And I was leaning on going corner here, and I know Mike knows who my favorite corner is. And so I was going to go that route from Alabama, Roll Tide, but I changed my mind, and I think that I'm still going to stay on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to stay with the Crimson Tide, and I'm going to take Dallas Turner, edge rusher. I think that he's my favorite edge rusher in the draft. I'm a big Jared Verse fan and Latu fan. I just think that watching Dallas Turner, I think he's something special, and I think he's just my number one. And I think that the Atlanta Falcons could really use help with the pass rush.
Absolutely. I mean, I had Dallas Turner going at this exact pick too. I think he's probably the best pass rusher in the draft, and he's got all the tools to be a really good player. And he comes in and makes a huge impact right out of the gate for them, which is exactly what you want to do in a number one. So I think it's an easy pick. Don't think too much about it and just take him and keep going.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's probably the most straightforward pick out of all of them because they have the weapons on offense. You bring in Kirk Cousins. Now let's get a stellar defense to support that. Right. And
Absolutely.
then you go get the best defensive player in the draft. Now, that changes things. So yeah, I like the pick a lot. I like it a lot, Mike.
Appreciate that. All right. So this is going to be interesting, right? So next pick here, we have the Chicago Bears. Christopher got to pick their first pick in Caleb Williams. Now their second pick actually goes to Mikey Mike over there. Very interested to hear like what they're going to do here.
Well, we drafted Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. And since we love this guy and think he's going to be incredible, and we have weapons, it's time to protect them. Right.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with, hope I don't butcher his name, Ulumuyiwa Fashanu, Penn State.
Yeah.
Fashanu is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
You definitely did destroy his name. But Fashanu, Penn State, some people have him as the number one tackle in this draft.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah, I was gonna say I know that the Jets right now are hysterical crying. Okay, like I feel like there's a lot of talk about them getting Rodgers another weapon, but like I don't know. Let's keep him off his back. Okay, he made it 4 plays last year. Let's do something for the guy and keep him safe. They would have loved that pick. I think that you just phenomenal. I love it. DJ Moore.
My only
you have Keenan Allen. Now
my only question was going to say you have DJ Moore, you have Keenan Allen. Do you make the best receiving core in the NFL though, and take Rome Odunze?
You can argue that.
See that far, he's sitting there right now, and I love the tackle pick too. I mean, yeah, of course, you need to protect your number one overall pick. It's just with Rome Odunze on the board, it's intriguing to say, wow, do we take another player like this and really create an extremely high-powered offense? So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
And I was thinking about that, Chris. My only thing was that the Bears have done that in the past where they've chosen to neglect the O-line and their QB didn't pan out that way. And I just think that they're trying to learn from their mistakes and like, all right, well, we have the weapons, so let's protect this guy. Like, especially if you already have a stud in DJ Moore and you bring in Keenan Allen, it's not a pressing need. If you would have told me Keenan Allen wasn't there, then I could see the pick, but it just made sense to me. We have him rated higher on our board, the best tackle on our board, and he fell to us. So I'm going to take it and run with it.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great pick. You can't go
but I
wrong
will
with it.
say, Chris, I have seen mocks where that's a thing,
Yeah.
where they're like Rome drops to the Bears and you're like, screw it, ours, and they just run that ticket right up to the podium. But I because it's a very appealing pick, but I think you're literally trying to, you got to keep him healthy. You got to, like, he ran all over the place and was still making plays for USC. Like, he's running everywhere for his life half the time. Imagine what he can do behind an offensive line.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So great pick, Mike. I like it. You are up again with the New York Football Jets.
Okay.
What do you got?
This was a tough blow to the Jets because we really thought that we had the same tackle rated pretty high and was like, oh man, he's going to fall to us. He's going to fall to us. And then boom, the Chicago Bears take him. So I think here they try to combat the two, right? Potentially they could have had an offensive weapon to add with Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson, but they also wanted a tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers. So why not get a somewhere in the middle? Let's go Brock Bowers, tight end Georgia.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I certainly wasn't going to pick him next, but he's my second favorite player in this draft after Marvin Harrison, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know people think I'm crazy, but watching him as a freshman just tear it up at Georgia, like,
Yeah,
I am a huge Brock Bowers fan.
Same.
Dude, huge fan. Honestly, he is a game changer. I mean, I think that's going to go a long way. I do. Great pick. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it fits perfectly. It's a great fit for him. The only question, which you guys are going to call me crazy, and I didn't even think of it until right
That's
now.
Good. We like crazy.
You're sitting at 10. We just said earlier in this mock draft that Drake May has the highest ceiling and he needs to sit behind someone to grow. Do you take Drake May to sit behind Aaron Rodgers? I mean, how many more years does he have? The Jets get their quarterback. It's like, look at Jordan Love getting drafted behind Aaron Rodgers. We didn't expect it. And you know what? Yeah, I get it. You want to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, but do you also want to be a dynasty and a franchise team? I'm taking Drake May potentially.
Dude, I like that. I like that a lot.
I didn't even think about it, dude. I forgot he was even available.
Yeah, he's sliding all the way down to the Jets. Vikings are about to take him right now.
I know.
He's available.
I actually did know he's available. I was sitting here like praying.
But if I'm the Jets, I mean, I want to do what I can for Aaron Rodgers to go and win a Super Bowl with him. But you know what? Sit Drake May behind him for a year, 2 years, even 3 if he wants to play. You got your quarterback for the next.
See, so I agree with you, Chris, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier, because I think they're all in the same pool talent wise. I'm willing to wait and pull the trigger second round. Because I didn't think about it to that extent. I didn't even know Drake May was going to still be here. But because, like I said, I don't think there's a huge talent discrepancy, in my opinion, between these second and third tier quarterbacks. Maybe I can get a Penix, maybe I can get a Bo Nix in the second round to be Aaron Rodgers' backup and potentially be the starter one day. So,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, either way, if one of these quarterbacks fall to you, like, you got to consider them. So you think that Drake May, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix, the remaining 3 on the board, are all around even keel?
Yeah, I don't think there's from a
you don't think there's a separation?
Point, no, not at all, man. Not at all. And if you want to throw Joe Milton and Jordan Travis in there too, dude, these guys are all productive. Like, they all have flaws, is what I'm saying. They all have flaws.
No, I agree. They all have flaws. It's just a matter of, like, there's things like Washington had one of the, if not the best offensive line in the country, some people will say. And you have Drake May, who still had had good level production. He's a great athlete, right? So great athlete, had good production, terrible offensive line. Then you have Michael Penix, injury history, multiple injuries, a pure pocket passer, can't get out of the pocket. Big game, has pressure from Michigan, and he's throwing it to like his first read. He's throwing it to, like nowhere where Rome Odunze can catch the ball. Like he looked terrible in the championship game. So I just, for me, I have Drake May. I told you he's my number 2 quarterback in this thing, so I have him higher than some of these other guys. But that's my opinion.
No, and that's a valid point. Like everything you're saying is absolutely true. I guess for me, man, when I was watching this film, I'm telling you, dude, I would see him in the pocket and he would try moves and he got away with them. And I was just like, that would not happen in the NFL. Or times where he held the ball too long and I was like, that's a sack. So like, I don't know. I saw a few plays where I was like, oh wow, that's talent there. But too many times I just see him holding on, being hesitant. And if you're hesitant like that in college, good luck in the NFL.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But I will say some of the throws, like those crazy, across the field, over the middle throws by JJ McCarthy, where he was threading needles, like that's actually the reason why I wouldn't have. That's the reason why I wouldn't have taken him at 3. And I would have taken Drake May over him. Because I'm like pick, But,
and he can pass.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we know where I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings pick. I don't think this is going to happen in real life because I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to pair these two. I have 2 Minnesota picks at 11 and at 23. I'm likely going to try to pair them to move up within the top 10, preferably top 5. I know I'm going to have to give up other things as well, but that's my goal because I still have a roster that can win now, but I don't have a quarterback to get me there. I'm going to sell the house and the kitchen sink, everything I have. Give me Drake May earlier on. But in this scenario, I got very lucky. I'm going to take Drake May here at the 11th pick, and I am ecstatic that I did not have to trade a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, if he slides them at this pick, it's an easy choice for them, right? He can still sit behind Sam Darnold for a little bit. He could still battle it out for the position. I don't know if Sam Darnold is going to make it a full year as their starter. We've seen him again and again and again. Who knows? But you know what? Like you said, this is a win now team. Maybe he sits behind Sam Darnold, see if he can develop and, go from there. But yeah, again, with the 2 first-round picks that they gained, I think they're trying to trade up. And if I had a guess, I think they're going to try and trade up for JJ McCarthy. But we'll see if they can do it.
Wait, Mike, who'd you say the Vikings took?
Drake May.
I just took Drake May.
Didn't you take him number 2 for Washington?
No, that was Jaden Daniels.
Oh, you took Jaden Daniels. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
You were quite all right. I took Jaden, but again, I took Jaden Daniels. For those who were, I know he had some streaming issues in the beginning of the show. For those who didn't see the second pick, I took Jaden Daniels because honestly, I think that's where he's gonna get drafted. I think his athleticism, Cliff Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator over there. I think that it just makes sense in that regard with the type of offense that he's run, But it's not like it's a dramatic difference between the Jaden Daniels and Drake May. So like who I think is better. Like I don't think it's that dramatic of a difference. But I went Jaden because I think that's where he's going to go. So I took Drake May after falling to the 11th spot with the Minnesota Vikings. All right.
Yeah.
Denver pick. Broncos. Yeah, I think so. Denver Broncos also in need of a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, they're in need of a quarterback. My next quarterback up right now is Bo Nix, but I think it's too early to take him. So as much as I want to take a Bo Nix, I'm taking who I believe is potentially the best corner in the draft at Quinnen Mitchell. If I'm the Denver Broncos, I am trying really hard to trade back into the first round later on and try and grab a Bo Nix or a Michael.
Don't forget, you don't have a second round pick. So I know you're gonna, but this sounds like a very short and pain thing. Let's just trade everything and just go get who we need at anyway. But just okay, no, that's why. Hey, listen, it could happen. Quentin Mitchell, what a pick! Great player. Great player.
Bronco Nation, let's ride.
Yeah, Bronco Nation. Woo. All right, Quentin Mitchell, Colorado. Okay. So that brings us to now the Las Vegas Raiders.
So we're another team with the Raiders where you could take a Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. But again, I think both of those quarterbacks are potentially second round grades. So do you want to reach to fill the gap that you need, or take more of a better, best available approach? No matter who the Raiders seems to put at quarterback, they're always under so much pressure. So I'm going with Troy Fertunyon from Washington, and he's going to fill the gap on offensive line for me.
Like it. I like it.
So I'm just trying to get all my picks in a row here. Who was it that you just drafted?
Troy Fertunyon.
Okay. Fatanu, yes, from Washington. And he's a yeah. Okay, got it. Sorry, Raiders.
Definitely feels a need.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I think there's been talk, and forgive me if I'm wrong, of potentially being able to kick him out to tackle. I know he's an accomplished guard within Washington.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with that pick is that Jermaine Illuminor just signed as a free agent with the Giants. That was their right tackle. Giants absorbed both him and their offensive line coach. Personally, I would have probably went tackle here because I have a particular tackle here that I'm excited that he's still on the board, but I'm going to save that information for later.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on a lot of different mock drafts have him listed actually as a tackle or guard.
Yeah, that's why I feel
really interchangeable. So
yeah.
I think he's kind of the best of both worlds. See where he pans out the best for your team and his skills, and that's where he's going.
I absolutely love that
position versatility too, Chris. So
yeah,
you can definitely plug
the
and
Raiders
play.
really can't afford to miss on this pick. They've been missing on first round picks for some time, so they can't afford to miss it. So
as long as they can't.
All right. Well, with that being said, you made me very happy because I've been sitting here since the last offensive lineman taken, praying that my boy Amarius Mims falls to the New Orleans Saints. He's a bad man. He is a big man. He is a wall. His pass pro, I loved when watching it on film. I think that he's going to be a fantastic addition for the New Orleans Saints. I just think, that offense is just all over. Like it's just I don't know, Mike. You could talk about this more because I know that they're in your division. You're watching them. You played them twice a year, but I don't know if it's how much of it is quarterback play versus poor offensive line play versus God knows what. But they got to get something together. I think this guy can be a big staple, no pun intended, for this offense, and I'm very excited about the pick.
Yeah, the Saints they're a conundrum, man, because last year, I honestly, before the season started, I thought they had a pretty decent roster to try to get pretty far. I can tell that they're turning the table on, can't guard Mike, right? So I don't know what was going on too much with their offense. Nope. They're typically good on O-line, so I could see them wanting to continue to add to that. I'm pretty shocked that I would have probably doubled down on the Saints at receiver. I know they have Chris Olave throwing another weapon and see how far you can go with that. But they have plenty of needs at this point. So it's a good pick. There's no wrong pick for the Saints. I think they're not one player away, so they have a lot of needs. So you could have went tackle, you could have went receiver. You could have went defense because their defense is starting to get up there in age. So
Which
yeah, they have a
tackle
lot.
was it?
They have a lot of needs. I'm sorry
Which tackle was it?
that Mike took.
Yeah.
Mike took.
You're asking me? Oh,
Yeah.
I took Amarius Mims from Georgia.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He can help set tempo too.
Yes, I agree. I just
He's a
think
bad
that they
man.
need some type of he is. You just need an anchor there, and they don't have one. I think this can give it to them. So, all right. With that being said, next up are the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay, so I have the Colts 15th pick. Currently, team needs tight end, cornerback, safety, wide receiver, DN, even more. I really wanted Brock Bowers to follow me here, but he didn't.
Oh, big time! I was just thinking that they would have loved this.
Yeah, I really would have loved that. I think I got to see what I have with Anthony Richardson, so I'm going to go ahead and give the Colts wide receiver Brian Thomas from LSU. I think that oh, I'm sorry. I take that back.
Oh, wow.
That's who I originally was going to go with, but Roma Dunze is still on the board.
Yeah, that's what I can't believe.
There is no way I could pass that up. I have him ranked high on my big board. I actually have him ranked higher than Malik Neighbors, and he fell to us. So I'm gonna pair him up with Anthony Richardson and just let the ball fly.
Wow, that
absolutely.
is going
love that
to
pick.
be
unbelievable.
I love that.
I thought that was yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say people think that listening might think that that's absolutely insane. That'll never happen. CeeDee Lamb fell to like 15 and was drafted by the Cowboys. Justin Jefferson fell to like he was drafted after the Eagles, right? And then Vikings got him at I think it was 17, around there. Like this can happen, and if it does, wow, like that will be incredible. I love it. That's an unbelievable value pick. I'm running to the podium with that card.
Yeah, I just want to throw one thing out there. You said that you were hoping that Brock Bowers were to drop down this far. I think Brock Bowers is a Sean Payton guy. I think Denver takes him if he's sitting there. So I don't think he gets down to Indianapolis.
Yeah, I've heard that. I heard that too. I agree with you. I do.
No, and I could see that. I just know tight ends are typically, quarterback's best friend. So if I have a second-year pro in Anthony Richardson, I think the best way to equip him would be a tight end. But since he's not available, I'll go best wideout that is. And Roma Dunze was
definitely.
there. So.
Incredible pick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Great pick. All right. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Seattle has a bunch of needs. But I think that we have some solid weapons on the offense. I think Geno Smith hasn't played terrible. So I'm going to continue to see what I have in him. And I think I'm going to go with the guard, Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon.
Oh, okay. He was my sleeper. I think
he's not sleeping anymore.
No, he's not. Oh my God. I think he's going to play center in the league.
Yeah. Easily.
He's going to play center in the league. He's my favorite interior lineman. Obviously not including Fatanu. That God, that hurts. Okay. Great pick. I really thought he was gonna fall.
It's all right, Mike.
All right. Well,
did I
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did I just shatter your big board?
Well, not entirely, right? So I can go a couple different ways here. But I'll be honest with you. Quinton Mitchell came off the board. He was not my number one corner. I'm looking at Terrion Arnold. He's still sitting there. I mean, anyone who's listened to take the film away for a second. Anyone who's listened to this guy talk, interviews when he's talking at like the combine, like you immediately fall in love with this guy. Like he's a personality that you want to be a part of your locker room. I'm keeping him along the Bible Belt, and I'm gonna go with Terry Arnold. I'm running up there, cornerback, for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I really love that pick. He's my favorite corner in the draft. I think that the capability of not only being able to play man and press coverage, he plays on the boundaries and he plays in the slot. And to have that versatility is incredible in the league, especially in a league where
you don't see it anymore.
Their best players. Exactly. They try to isolate their best players. So
yeah, it's a great pick.
Exactly. Great pick. I love the pick.
I'm ecstatic.
Very, very solid pick. Yeah.
I'm
no, it's a great pick. And, they just got Josh Allen to the long extension. So they got their pass rusher, linebacker, however you want to look at him. He's so versatile. Getting a top corner, you're really starting to shore up that defense. So I like it.
Yeah. Very happy about it. As the Jacksonville Jaguars being my third favorite team, I would be ecstatic if this actually happens. I don't think he'll fall this far, but man, my fingers are crossed. That'd be a great pick. Next up on the clock, we have the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think it's an easy pick for me. I know they can go so many different ways. I love Brian Thomas. I mean, we talk about Malik Neighbors. We talk about Roma Dunze. The Bengals are having contract issues with T. Higgins or whoever it is with their contract. I don't remember off the top of their head. You just go with Brian Thomas. You just fill that gap with Jamar Chase. They have an elite receiving crew, and now you can move on financially from other issues that you have at wide receiver with these other good athletes. I mean, they're amazing. I'd want to keep T. Higgins and whoever else it was. I can't remember their name with the contract issues, but I think he's an easy pick. You got him for 4 years on a rookie contract, and I mean, he had more touchdowns than Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, and Roma Dunze last year. So,
dude, I love that pick.
Yeah, I can't. I have nothing to say other than.
I love that pick. I love that.
Great job. That was awesome. I got nothing.
I love that pick. Yeah, that was a good pick. That was a good
Fantastic.
pick. Smart too. It fills a need. You can. I wonder at this point if the trade talks continue to open up for T. Higgins at this point, because you're like, well, every team at this point knows that, all right, they're really trying to get this guy out of here. And then what would the trade value be for him too? So I'm curious to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the trade value will drop. They'll get another pick if they trade him mid-draft, later in the draft. But I don't think it's going to be anything crazy because of that contract issue. Yeah. So, we'll see where that goes. But I'm going to follow this up with the Los Angeles Rams. I want to do something crazy here, but I'm going to be straightforward. I want to do what I keep saying. I love taking a quarterback and having them sit. How many more years does Matthew Stafford have? I personally would like to take Bo Nix, but I'm not gonna, because I think there's a better player that fills their needs. Aaron Donald's retiring. They need a pass rush. I'm going Jared Verse, edge rusher, Florida State.
I like it. I like it a lot. Period. I think that was a great. I think that was a great pick. I think you go corner or defensive end here, I love the pick.
Yeah, and the Rams are another team that I'm not saying they need to trade back into the first round or whatever, but they're another team that I would keep my eye out on drafting a quarterback to develop behind Matthew Stafford. If someone they love slides to them, they have to love him, because again, Stafford's, I don't know how many more years he's going to play, but it's something I would pay attention to.
I think in Mel Kiper's, one of his mocks, I think he had them trading up in the second round to go after Michael Penix. So
yeah,
you're definitely not far off on that thought process.
Great decision. Yeah.
All right, up next, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, oh my God, this is where I really wanted Jackson Powers Johnson. I had him slated in here to go either here or I know I'm not picking for the Miami Dolphins, but honestly, I think that would have been if he falls, I want the Miami Dolphins to draft him without question. But we're on the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I think this is an easy pick. If you don't have Jackson Powers Johnson there, where to fill the need at center, which is a great value pick at this point in the draft. I'm going wide receiver. Now, there's two receivers here that I am. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I am a sucker for route running and creating separation. I said it before. And I see how intently MJB is looking right now. But I truly believe that they're going to take AD Mitchell if he ends up here. But for me, I would say Lad McConkey is something that you need to consider. And I would legitimately take, me personally, I would legitimately consider taking a Lad McConkey here. I think that he is going to be one of the more underrated people in the draft. I think that his route running and his ability to create separation reminds me, again, call me crazy, it reminds me a lot of when I saw Cooper Kupp at Eastern Washington. Okay. You see when you watch Cooper Kupp, you're not thinking, oh, this guy's a burner. You're not thinking that this guy's, the tall guy. No, he knows how to run a route, and he knows how to create separation, get open. He's got great hands. That is Lad McConkey. So for me, would I take Cooper Kupp in the first round of the draft? Absolutely. But I'm going to go with who I think is going to go here with an AD Mitchell out of Texas to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, it gives some versatility, some more weapons for Russell Wilson. And, you have Justin Fields now sitting behind Russell Wilson, who can potentially be your guy for the future, or maybe Russell Wilson sticks around. They're going to battle it out. We're going to see where it goes. The only thing that I would consider doing, which I know you were considering doing with Jaden, what's his name, from Iowa, the inside guard, I would look for an O-lineman if you love a guy, only because I think of Russell Wilson behind the Seattle Seahawks. He was not phenomenal his last year there, and it all became to pressure. He had issues his first year in Denver with the same thing. So I like giving him weapons, but I'm also looking to see if I can get someone up front to block for him too.
Yeah, and I think you can get an interior lineman in the second round of this draft. So listen, if I went one way, I'm getting the other position in the next round. Period.
Yeah.
All right. All of our second favorite team, the Miami Dolphins.
Oh man, this is not easy for me.
No, I would have. This is my Jackson Power Johnson pick. If here are the Steelers, it kills me that he's not there.
Man, this is not an easy.
No. You got needs too.
I think I know who I'm taking here, though. I do.
Well,
let's hear what you got.
Yeah, I'm very curious to hear it.
Check my notes real quick.
Man, this is tough. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger there. You can't overthink this pick if you're the Dolphins. I do have needs at other positions, but this is probably one of my favorite players in the draft. And the fact that he's still here, I just can't pass that up. Yeah, Latu, edge,
Ooh.
UCLA. You can't pass him up.
No, you cannot
pass that dude up.
That's
think
he's a great phenomenal. Pick.
Yeah, I think he's
if
phenomenal.
He's healthy.
I think they're gonna cash it in. You don't remember one of their pass rushers got hurt last year. There's no guarantee he'll start the season healthy. So now you solidify, you add depth to that position. We both know, all three of us know, the more pass rush you have, the better your defense looks, right? So even though the Dolphins have a need at cornerback, right? If you add a stellar pass rusher, you can help, compensate for that. So I'm gonna go with the edge rusher here.
Yeah, I love the pick. That's all I have to say. I could see this happening in real life. Great pick.
Yeah, I love the pick. My only pick I would challenge you with is the best D lineman inside D tackle from Texas, Byron Murphy. Christian Wilkins is a Raider. It's another void they got to fill, and that would be my only challenge to that. But I love going defense there.
So I was stuck between the two, Chris. That's why I kept going back and forth. But it's the value, right? Like, so I have him rated higher on my board, and for that reason, I had to go with the pick. Is D tackle a need? Absolutely. But it's like, do I pass up on someone I think potentially can be world-class Pro Bowler, or someone, all right, he feels a need, but he wasn't the highest rated player on my board, and I just chose not to do that. So yeah, it was tough, man. You could see it on my face. I was like,
Yeah.
I'd rather not have options.
If the Dolphins are picking like at the very end of the first round, I say do it. But with Latu there, I don't know how you pass up on him. And next up, the Birds, the Dirty Birds, the Philadelphia Eagles. So, is Zeus an Eagles fan?
Yeah. Yeah. Zeus is a diehard Eagles fan. Trust me. I've known him for 15 years plus, and my God, I get tired of hearing about the Eagles, man. Fly Eagles. That song is terrible, terrible, terrible. Hate it. And let me tell you, he's tuned in. So if I butcher this pick, he's gonna let me have it tomorrow.
I know he's watching. That's why I had to ask. I was like, "Oh my God!" One of these days, Zeus, you're gonna have to explain how that happened. All right, so well, let's hear it. I know who I'm taking here, being that this athlete is still available. I'm running to the podium with this pick, but and I feel like it's very much of an Eagles pick, but.
Yeah, for sure. This is a no-brainer for me. This is exactly what the Eagles would do. And to be honest, it's worked in the past. They tend to go this route, and for some reason it works. So I'm gonna go offensive tackle JC Latham.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
I hate that they do this, but man, it always works out.
Oh my God, you're absolutely killing me with that pick.
So that was my number 2 pick. I would have taken them, or I'm taking Chop Robinson.
Yeah, it was between the two. It was for sure between the two.
You can't go wrong. Once again, the Eagles just sit there, wait for their pick, and they have an absolute freaking stud just sitting there waiting for the picking.
Always.
Yeah, great pick. I don't know what else to say other than fantastic pick. Zeus is happy about it. He's all for it.
I was definitely between the two, though, Mike. It was between him and Chop. But
you can't go wrong with either one. Either one is a awesome pick. And that's what brings me to my next pick with the Minnesota Vikings. You can make an argument. I know this is not maybe an unpopular opinion. I think MJB, you and I see eye to eye on this. That the top corner remaining in my eyes is Cooper DeJean.
Cooper.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cooper DeJean guy. I think he's going to be awesome. But I just mentioned how much of a great player and Chop Robinson is. He's sitting there. I'm taking him. I'm running up to the board. I know we need defensive tackle. We can continue to improve rushing the passer. It's been a couple years now where we're watching that defense just get lit up. I just think you can go corner here. You can go pass rusher. We already got our quarterback in Drake May earlier. I'm going to take Chop Robinson to the Minnesota Vikings.
Nice.
That's
a good pick. Feels a need. You got a quarterback earlier. Now you tend to go pass rusher. So you help both sides of the ball. I like that pick a lot.
All right, the Dallas Cowboys, the least active team in all of free agency.
I mean, yeah, I think this isn't too hard to overlook either personally. Tyron Smith is gone. There you could use an offensive tackle, and you got Tyler Gutton from Oklahoma sitting there. He fills a void, and I think it's just an easy pick. You don't get too complicated. The only other position that you're going to say I'm crazy, which I probably wouldn't draft in this situation, I'm waiting till second round, would be if you absolutely love a running back. I don't even know who the running back is. Tony Pollard's on the Titans, but I'm sure up that line I'm going Tyler Gutton.
Yeah, I would not touch a running back at all in the first round at all. I actually I was joking that my least amount of preparation has been on the running back position, just because I know that like I have time before the draft, and they're not like, we'll be lucky if we see one taken in the second round. Like I just don't see it happening. I know people. I think Mel Kiper has Tyler Guyton Cohen like as the second tackle picked in the draft. Like this would be
Early
another
on,
thing as
yeah.
a Giants fan or as an Eagles fan that you're gonna have to deal with, sitting there and like, wow, this guy actually fell all the way to the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's a great pick. I don't think there's anything to consider here.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on, we have Green Bay Packers next, and Green Bay's got some team needs at offensive tackle. I don't know if I love the next tackle on the board for me right now. I think a lot of the tackles are gone. There's still some available that I would consider, but I really like Jordan Love. They just got Josh Jacobs. They have Christian Watson. They have their offense is striving in the right direction. I like Xavier Worthy. Give him another weapon. Aaron Rodgers was on with Green Bay Packers for so long. He never got his receiving core. He only had Devontae Adams. It struggled so long for them to provide him another receiver. I'm going Xavier Worthy from Texas.
But they give the receivers to him now.
Oh my goodness. I was not expecting that at all.
No, I wasn't.
Wow, that was out of left field. Wow, so you took Xavier. He took the speed over my boy McConkey. All right. That caught me by surprise.
If I was hoping Tyler Gutton would have been there for Green Bay, and he was just taken by Dallas. So yeah, I went wide out.
No, I think it was a great pick. Next pick at 26, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, so this is an interesting pick. We are in desperate need of a cornerback, an edge rusher. We have some receivers. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Ladd McConkey just chilling, just waiting, okay, to be selected. But I also know that Cooper DeJean is there, and I think that the need at cornerback is greater than it is at wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Absolutely.
And so I can't justify in my head letting Cooper DeJean fall again. I'm taking with the 26th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Cooper DeJean, Iowa.
I laugh because I love his name, and it's just it's funny for other reasons.
It's great.
But.
No, yeah, we know why. We all know why.
But I like the pick, though. I do like the pick.
Yes, appreciate that. So I'm very happy with it. And next on the clock, 27. This is the Arizona Cardinals' second pick in the first round.
Okay, so we took care of our wideout. I really was hoping Cooper would have been there, but he's no longer there. Let's see which route I would want to go in with this. It only makes sense to take this guy. He's still the highest rated player on our board and hasn't been touched yet. So I'm going to go D tackle Byron Murphy from Texas.
Yeah,
great pick. That's a great pick. Great
pick. I think he's sitting.
Yeah, there. Yeah, especially for where we are in the draft.
Yeah,
we're in the mid to late 20s. Like I think this is an area where he is going to go. Awesome pick.
Yeah, I didn't want to overthink it. He's still there. We had him ranked much higher than this. He fell to us. It feels a need. We address a position on defense and offense that we needed. So I think it's a solid first round for the Cardinals if they went both routes.
Yeah, and honestly, I think he's the only D tackle that's going to go in the first round in this draft.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Braden Fisk fan. I think he is going to go early second. Maybe the team falls in love with his pass rush ability and his speed, but I love the pick. Okay, the Buffalo Bills. I feel like this is a very easy pick.
Oh, man.
Or not.
It's really not.
Yeah, I don't think it's tough for me right now.
I do, but let's hear it.
So they definitely need a wideout. Which wideout is the question, though?
Well, I guess we know where I'm going.
So I'm not going Lad. I think that they need a bang on potential here. And I know this guy didn't have the best pro day but his film is stellar. And I don't have him rated this high, but I think potentially he could be one of the best receivers coming out of this draft. So I'm going to go Keon Coleman from FSU.
Okay. I'm not as high on him as you are.
Mike just beats
it. I'm not, listen, it comes back to the same thing, right? Like, he's a contested catch guy. I think you're gonna hate me for this, but my comparison is like Rashad Bateman.
Oh, that's disrespectful. That is disrespectful, man. That's crazy.
I knew he was gonna hate
that. That's your comp. That's crazy. That's bad.
You know what? I gotta wait to go back and look at the film.
You should be arrested.
Arrested. That was the first thing I thought of, and I was like, man, like I love separation. I didn't see any of it, and in today's NFL, with the offense that the Buffalo Bills run, I want more. I just want more of that. I feel like a Troy Franklin could have gotten that for you a little bit more, especially a Ladd McConkey. But yeah, I don't listen. I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at the film. Maybe I'm wrong. But that was my first impression. Okay? That's all I got to say.
Well, for me, when you don't have a lot of weapons, like the Bills don't at this point, I'm looking for big targets, big catch radius. We get in the red zone. I don't think Josh Allen's biggest deficits were moving the ball down the field. I think he had trouble scoring. So you bring in a guy with that kind of ability, you can create potential touchdowns.
You're thinking red zone.
Yeah. So from that perspective, I think that'd be a great pick because he didn't have that. You don't have that in the Stephon Diggs, which you replace with a bigger target, bigger catch radius, can do more for you in the red zone. So it just works out. That's why I chose to go that route.
I get that. I totally get that. I think that makes a lot more sense. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, Stephon's gone. We need a guy who we can get the ball to in space and make plays. But yes, that wouldn't solve the problem that you're just talking about anyway. So I get where you're coming from.
And for nothing else, as stacked as this receiver class is, they have a lot of shifty and speed guys that I can get later on. I don't know how many big catch radius, red zone guys there are in this draft. You know what I'm saying? That kind of have the same stature as a Keon Coleman. So I figured, hey, we get this. We can double up in the second round, maybe get a receiver to complement them. And now we have our wideouts for the future.
No, that makes sense. And Zeus completely agrees with wideout for Buffalo. I'm glad we're all on the same page. I know he's educated in this as well. So
yes, number one fan.
Same page. All right. So next up with the 29th pick, the Detroit Lions. Okay. So interesting. It's an interesting pick here. I've been looking at who's still left on the board. And you can go a couple different ways. If Murphy was still here, that would have been my pick. Okay. I feel like that might be a spot where he goes pairing him up with Aiden Hutchinson. That would have been a pretty sweet move, but obviously I can't do that. So looking down on my board here, okay. He's my next. Honestly, you can go wide out here too. I know I'm not just going to pick Ladd McConkey because he's my number one player left on the board right now in regards to like specialty positions. I'm not going to go there. They could use some more help Amon-Ra St. Brown, another playmaker. So if you want to do that, you can. I think they need more help at corner, to be honest with you. Obviously, they need the defensive end, D tackle, and safety, but best player available and need, you can make an argument. I'm going to go with Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he's the next best corner on the board. That speed is not as phenomenal. I think he's gonna just jump right into that MTDC culture and help shore up that defense. I love the pick. I'm walking out here very happy.
Yeah, I love that pick. He's my second-rated cornerback. I think he has fluid hips. He has speed, small in stature, but there's a lot of cornerbacks who are small in stature and still have an impact in the league. So I think he can be one of those guys. I was very high on him. I only had Terrion Arnold rated higher than him. So big time pick there. The fact that he fell this far into the first round is a phenomenal steal. So I like it.
Yeah. I mean, you could. Some people might have Kool-Aid up there as well, Kool-Aid McKinstry, but I think I Kool-Aid. I'm going to go with Nate Wiggins. I do. I think he's the best available. All right, the Baltimore Ravens, big free agency signing and Derrick Henry. They didn't lose too much. Patrick Queen left, but they still have Roquan. This is a really good team. If I'm you, I'm picking just the best player available. But let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously want to go best player available. I'm, back and forth between a few guys because I could pick a few guys right here. I've been trying to dig into my research right now and trying to decide for them. But everybody keeps talking about you need to protect Lamar. Let's give him a better O-line. Lamar's always running for his life. Imagine if he had even more time. And then you bring in Derrick Henry as well, who you can argue is one of the best, obviously, running backs in the league, in my opinion. And, it's the same thing as, do you want to bring Derrick Henry into another situation? Well, I'm not saying he had a situation, but to just a team with an O-line that can't give him what he wants to in run blocking. So I've been waiting for Zach Frazier from West Virginia Mountaineers. He's done. One of the best inside offensive linemen for run blocking as well. It was between him or you're going with Duke's Graham Barton, and those are the top two guys I have for that. So, yeah, I'm going Zach Frazier.
Nice.
I don't hate it. I don't
either. I really don't. Either.
I mean, you got Derrick Henry running between the tackles. You got Lamar running outside the tackles. I mean, yeah, that was a good pick. No, that was good. Smart pick. Next up on the clock, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, so I mean, it's tough. I want to go tackle here. I want to protect Brock Purdy more, but I think they have a heavier need as well at corner, and Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama is still sitting there. Yep. So I'm taking my corner and shoring up my defense even more.
Yep, very good pick.
Great pick. No one can argue that at all.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. No, that was a very good pick. I'm just getting all my stuff down here. Okay. Yeah, so with the last pick in the NFL draft, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. So I'm.
Please don't pick anything but the position I have in my
mind. You can make arguments for a couple of different things.
You have to do it. You have to do it.
I'm not going to make you guys happy. I don't think I'm going to. I have to do it, huh?
You have to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna not make you guys happy. Maybe I don't know, maybe I am. So I honestly, if you're looking at this, like we have 3 needs. I'm looking at this like we have those are all needs. We need their offensive line needs help, and then they lost their top corner, right? To the Titans. So now that's also a hole we need to fill. But oh my God, wide receiver.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my,
Enough's enough, man. Enough's enough.
I did think about filling the gap of losing L'Jarius Sneed. I did, but we need a receiver here. I'm gonna go with my favorite on the board. I've been saying it for like the last 10 picks, and we're gonna take Lad McConkey out of Georgia. To wrap up the final pick in the first round of the Docs Huddle 2024 NFL mock draft. So we're going to go with that for sure. I'm very happy with the pick. I think everyone's gonna be happy that they got a receiver. To wrap up, I would just like to think would you guys have taken someone different? For me, I think Lad McConkey's talent at that spot at 32. I mean, how do you say no? He can create separation. You get him the ball. Now you got 2 guys that can get open in space, and with Kelsey and him, I think it's going to play very well.
Dude, no, that was the only pick. So if you would have chose something else, I wouldn't have understood it. Our top 5 corners are gone, so like there's no value there in the first round at this point.
Yeah,
you don't have a lot of cap room to pay a stud wide receiver in free agency. You have to get them cheap. And Lad McConkey fell down to the 32nd pick. It's no brainer. That's what I was like. I don't know what else. There's not much to think about. You just have to just do it.
You know what it is?
He's the guy.
In my head, I guess the first thing that came to my mind was just the loss of L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh,
that's there.
Yes, I agree. I think the wide receiver need is much
the
more
thing
glaring.
is this: the Chiefs had the most drop passes in the NFL last year, and they still won the Super Bowl. Like, can you imagine if Patrick Mahomes actually had receivers? Like, if he actually had a dirty receiver core, So the only, I love the wide receiver pick. The only other thing that we could have argued would have been Graham Barton from Duke.
Yeah.
He needs some help on O-line. But I love the pick. You got to go wide receiver.
Yeah. No, I agree with all that. Yeah. Yeah. And would you guys have taken like a Xavier Legette?
Yeah, I've seen him, in a lot of mock drafts going to the Chiefs that late,
McConkey?
I'm
a big fan of him, but I'm not taking him over McConkey.
Listen, if I'm looking at receiver, when I'm watching the film, I'm just looking at his hands at this point for the Chiefs. Like, I'm not looking at speed, routes. Like, can you catch? Because this is ridiculous. Like, if I have Patrick Mahomes, I just need a receiver who can catch. So that'd be my first input, and I think McConkey fits that bill. If it wasn't going to be him, maybe you could think of an Xavier Legit, but potentially Xavier could be better. But I know what I'm getting in Lad, and I just need him to catch the damn ball, and I think you get that.
Yeah,
fair enough. No, I think fair enough. So that wraps it up for today and for our inaugural episode here with the Docs Huddle. We thank everyone for tuning in. We want to remind you that today's episode was brought to you by the Health and Wellness Depot, unlike the power of well-being. And we look forward to you guys joining us at our next show, where we're likely going to be doing a review of the NFL draft and giving you our thoughts on some of the picks and so on and so forth. All right. Until then, have a great evening.
Bye, guys.
Later.